welcome all. Bern here from EWPRO. We'll get on with it and look at the DXY on the daily. Now, like I've been saying for ages, you know, we do have this Z down here on the daily, and we do have that bullish divergence. I am looking for this larger correction to at least go up to the 50 fib and possibly break this top. Now, we were never sure, because this is so choppy in here, we're never sure that this would actually go from here. It may have come down, break the low, and then give us that larger correction. But either way, it's only a matter of time before we do get this larger correction. We do have that bullish divergence. On the H4, this is the way I'm looking at it, and I think I explained this last week. We got this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm looking for that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a complex correction, a 3, 3, 5 pattern. Now, this ABC bounced off of that 100 fib, and we got the trend line break, and I was looking for that a Z up here, which wasn't confirmed at the time. It ended up being confirmed, but I'm sort of looking for that 5 up. We got a nice impulse up here, and we've broken the trend line, so we're only looking for buys. So we do have possible bear hidden here. It's not confirmed, and I doubt it will go and break that low now, because it's not confirmed in a few different ways. I'm not going to go into that, but if you want to learn all that, and it's very important to actually learn all this, because it'll help your trading immensely, but you really have to join the course to learn everything. But in here, if ideally we get a break of that top to negate that bear hidden, and then if you get any little flag, I'd be more inclined, you can trade the flags if you get a little flag, but I'd be more inclined to wait for that break at the top and then wait for the larger correction, and then look for the buy. That's the safest option now, because we do have, and this goes for just about all the pairs I'm going to talk about, all the majors, because we have this large impulse. Trading the flags becomes a little more dangerous because we have such a large impulse. You still can trade them, the flags, but yeah, it's more for the experienced traders now, because yeah, we have that large impulse. So the safer option is to wait. Wherever this goes, it may go right up here and then give the larger correction, you know, but it will give a correction. They always give corrections. Like I said, you can trade the flags, bullish flags, but just keep tight stop losses on your flag. We'll wait for that larger correction. AU on the daily was still within this uptrend. The 100 fibs up here, still within this trend. We do have a trend line break again now. It's not confirmed, but yeah, so we got this bearish divergence. So eventually we are going to get that larger correction down, and I'm targeting this 50 fib, you know. So we may get something like this, just a simple ABC down. That's all you can really forecast, because you're never going to be able to forecast what the correction is. You're just going to forecast it as a ABC, not a complex correction or triangle or anything, you know. So if we go down to the H4, we've got this. Now this is very messy. We've got an A, B, and a C. We do have divergence from the top here, but the last two waves from this high and this high, we don't have any bearish divergence. So it is quite tricky. But looking at the daily, we have that bearish divergence. So you don't really want to go, like I've been saying for ages, you don't really want to go against that divergence, you know, like it becomes risky. Eventually it's going to fall over on us and give us that larger correction. On the H1, now I'm in this on the sell up here. If you're not in the sell, we've got a lower low here. So either you can either wait for flags, which are a little bit more risky now because we've got such a large impulse, or the safer option now is to wait for that larger correction. Then look for the sell, for the A, at least the A, B, C. You know? There is no targets at this stage because you know, we haven't got that correction, and this we don't know where this impulse is going to end, but wherever it ends, we're going to get that larger correction. I'll just draw the fib. I haven't got the fib on here. So we're always looking for the 50 fib retrace. Take that one off. So we're always looking for that 50 fib retrace in the correction. Once you get the larger correction, we're looking for that 50 fib. So something like this. Then look for yourself set up for an A, B, C. Sometimes I won't get to the 50 fib. Sometimes I'll go to the 161.8. But once price starts to get above the 161.8, you have to start to look for different patterns because it can turn into something like, you know, a flat in here, you know, for a larger A, B, C. So yeah, we just have to play it by ear at this stage because it hasn't started that correction. But yeah, if you don't know these, all the patterns and that, it's going to be hard for you. But even if you're new to trading, a little tip for you is you want to wait for divergence. You want to wait for divergence. Now, this is only internal divergence here between this top and this top. You want to wait for a divergence. And then you want to wait for the impulse. Then you want to wait for the correction. And then you want to trade that correction and getting these sort of trades. These are the trades. These are the trades that you don't want to miss. And you don't really need to know patterns for this. This for newbies, you know. This is how you can look for your trades if you don't know what patterns are and stuff like that. So yeah, again, you just look for that divergence, wait for your impulse, wait for your correction, and then look for the sell. And 9 times out of 10, they will go. They'll go for you, and you'll make money if you have a decent trading system. And there's a lot to it, but yeah, that's where you can start. Look for the divergences, look for the impulses, look for the corrections, and trade in that direction of the impulse. So we're looking for corrections here. Like I said, we've got a large impulse down. The safest option is to wait for the larger correction. But again, if you're more experienced, you can look for the flags and you can sell them until the end of the impulse, and then wait for that larger correction and then look for the sell again. EU, pretty much the same. Now this one was a little bit harder. I didn't get a trade on this one. Didn't get a short on this one. We got the 100 fibs right up here, 129.77. So there still is room. This is, I think I said last week, it might have been on the Sheffy, but the Sheffy and the EU are pretty much the same. We do have this bearish divergence here on the daily. Now, we're getting this trend line break in here, but we're getting that trend line break. So it's very suspicious here what's going on. Now, this can turn into a couple of different patterns. This could be an A, B, C for a flat, for A, B, C, and give us more upside. I don't think that's what's happening, but it's possible. You can't rule it out. On the H4, this is where it gets interesting, because like I've been saying, we've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 1, 2, 3. So I'm looking for that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a complex correction. 3, 3, 5 pattern. This was the real kicker, because this leg down here didn't hit the 100 fib. This one, this C up here did hit the 100 fib and bounced off of it. So really, I'm only looking for that short now. We do have that bearish divergence between the tops in here. And we've got a nice impulse down. So if we go down to the H1, I got in up here somewhere. No, sorry, I didn't get in on this one. I got in the GU and AU and the CAD and a few of the others, but I didn't actually get this one. And the reason I didn't get this one is because we didn't have any bearish divergence here. And it sort of threw me off a bit. So yeah, I didn't get the trade on this one. What we're looking for now is definitely looking for ourselves, because we on the H4 we do have that bearish divergence. We got a lower low here. We got a lower low. So wait for your correction. Whatever sort of correction we get, we don't know. I can only forecast an A, B, C. But the correction may be anything. And like I said, on the AU, we can come back to the 50 fib. Once it starts to get past that 161, you have to start looking for different structures, not just an A, B, C. It can become more complex. But that will be for future webinar, future weekly outlooks. But at this stage, you can look for flags. If you get a flag in here on Monday, look for the sell. If you get a larger correction, you still look for that sell. At this stage, there's no buy or sell set up on it. But I dare say next week, we will start to see those corrections or flags. And yeah, you want something like this, like over here. This is pretty much the same. If you go back on the weekly outlook, we had this impulse up, and we didn't have this flag until Monday. I said in the weekly outlook, if you get a flag in here, look for the buy, and you got that buy. So if you get some similar sort of flag in here, look for that sell. Right? Eventually you will get this larger correction. What sort of correction you're going to get? Well, we don't know, and we don't have to predict those sort of corrections to be able to trade and make money. But this is a perfect example, of when you get these. If you see something like this over here, a bearish flag, sell it. GU gave a beautiful correction. We've got a Z up, and I should go to the weekly. Weekly, because we're at a weekly level. We're at this weekly 100 fib. If you haven't watched my annual outlook, go and look at it, because it's very important to trade these larger structures to see what the larger structures are. And I'm looking at this like A, B, C. We hit the 100 fib, so it's hit the target. Now, will it go and break this low? Well, we don't know, but we should at least get a 50 fib retrace down to here. Even if this structure here doesn't play out and break this low, we should at least still see A, B, C down to the 50 fib. So I'm looking for sells, because now, like I've been saying, we don't know when this C wave will end. This may not be the end of it here. It may turn into an expanding flat. We simply don't know. It's too early in time. But we're only looking for sells. On the daily, we've got that bearish divergence, so we're only looking for sells. H4. H4, there's not much. We got that Z up. It was an extended wave Z. It was very tricky because it's so choppy, like very hard to trade. This was a nice correction in here. You could have got on that one. But yeah, been very difficult to trade this pair. I've only been looking for sells on this for ages, it's just kept on going up though. Last week we got a nice flag in here on the H1. Now, if we look here, we don't have any bearish divergence between WXY. We've got a WXY up. We've got a trend line break. There is the possibility of bull hidden here, but we got this trend line break. This bull hidden here is not confirmed. It still needs to come down for another one before it can be confirmed and then go and break the top. So the bull hidden at this stage is not something we can trade as bull hidden. It doesn't fit the rules. How you can trade this, I'd be looking for, because you can see in here, we got an internal WXY. Look for your correction in here for a Z down, for a WXYXZ. See if it breaks this bottom, negating that bull hidden. We need to negate that bull hidden. So you can look for that short, and you never know. This could be the top, and it just falls over for you, Now, this was your trade here, like on Friday. This is a nice correction in here. I'll put this in the room on Thursday and Friday. Look for this sell. Now, I got in it, and I dare say most in the group would have got in on this. If you see something like this, you don't want to pass these up. Again, if you're missing these trades, join the group. While you're learning, looking for these patterns, you'll at least get a few trades, and yeah, so I can't rule out the Z up, but I'm really looking for the the sell, you can look for that sell. For the buy, you really need to wait for this move down, breaking this low, and then impulse up, and then the bullish setup to buy for the Z, if we get that Z. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky, and you got to watch these hidden divergences. They're very important. Most people don't look at they miss that important hidden divergence. They know all the other divergences, but we got divergence in here. Oh no, so we don't, because we didn't break that high. But yeah, like the divergences, the regular divergences most people look at. But you really need to know all the divergences, how they work, and the rules. There's rules to divergences as well. So if we go to NU, I've been keeping out of this, and I've been saying I've been keeping out of this, because there is still room up to, we're still within this trend line. We're still in the uptrend, and we're nearly up to the 100 fib. We do have that bearish divergence, so you don't really want to go against that. The H4, we got this Z up. We got a Z up here. W, X, Y, X, Z. Then I was looking for this to go down and break that low. It never broke that low for an ABC, for a larger ABC, and then go and break the top. It's given this in here, and it's just not something I would trade, because the pattern didn't look complete to me, And now between this high and this high, we don't have any bearish divergence now. So again, I can't really trade this until, well, it's not tradable for me following my rules. I need to break this low. So we need this impulse to keep on coming down, and then give your correction or flag, and then look for the sell. You still can, like, even on Monday, if I go down to the H1, we still, because we only have internal divergence. So really, ideally, we'd like to see this low broken here. That negates the bull hidden that we have. But we've got a nice impulse. So we usually get an impulse, correction, and an impulse. So if you get a little flag in, you definitely can sell it. There's no reason not to sell it, because on the daily, we do have that bearish divergence. Now, will it just give a flag and go, or will it give the larger correction back to the 50 fib? We'll just have to wait and see. There's no buy or sell setup on it at the moment. Ideally, what I'd like to see to actually trade this particular pair is to break this low, negate that bull hidden, and then give the, just because of the structure, negate that bull hidden, and then give the correction or a flag, and then start selling. I didn't get into this one. I haven't traded this for quite some time, because it's not giving structure that I can trade in the direction of. UY, we got this WXY. Now this one here didn't give that, it gave the bull hidden here, and it did play out. It wasn't confirmed. This bull hidden wasn't confirmed at this stage. Well, it didn't get confirmed at all, this one. I should go to the daily. Sorry about that. So on the daily, like I've been saying for ages, this is either going to be expanding flat in here now, and we get another one down, or it's going to go from here up to the 100 fib. It looks like the expanding well, the flat in here, I've been looking, if you've been following me, I've been saying that, you know, this is either the Y here and we get a Z down here, or this is the Z. And we either go from here or we go from here. I mean, these lines here, arrows have been here since the start of the year, you know, from the yearly outlook. So, sort of negating this here as a flat in here. It's sort of starting to get a little bit too far to following our rules. We still would like to see, you know, we're not going to know until this top here gets broken, because this is the top here and we do have that possible bear hidden divergence for one more down. You know? On the H4, like I did take this in here. If you go back, you'll see that I took that Z up, even though it wasn't confirmed. I did take this one in here for that Z up. Then we got this correction in here. We didn't have any bearish divergence between this top and this top. So now we can sort of start to look at this possible structure in here as a larger correction. Well, even if we look at it as a larger correction and we just get a WXY and then the larger correction for a larger A, B, C, or we look at it as a WXY and Z up here. So we get WXY, XZ. This is a little bit larger correction than this one. It sort of still does fit, just. It's not the best, but we will start to look for divergence here. This divergence may, if price keeps on going up, well, we may lose that bearish divergence. Because we don't have, yeah, we're starting to get divergence, so it is going to start to be tricky. There was a trade in here last week, just in this little flag in here, but this is where I put the idea out on TradingView in here, and we got that big move up there. This is what I traded again after getting this move up. I've got this little flag in here that I traded. If you go back on the weekly outlooks, you'll see this was yeah, well, this was my first target and this was my second target, but it only hit the first target. Last week I got into a little trade in here on the lower time frames, had this impulse up, got in a little trade down here. Last week, then we got this one here. This one here took me out, brought above that top, it took me out over here. So I missed that one. And yeah, so now you still can look for the buys, because more than likely, I think that we've changed directions and we can look for this larger structure. I think we get more upside, so I'd be more inclined to be looking for the buys. And this can go, like on this daily, it will never go in a straight line. It's not going to follow these lines exactly. You know, this can just keep on going like this all the way up. Be very choppy, like it's been choppy in here so far. You know, it can keep on doing that the whole way, which makes it hard to trade. You've basically got to get into the trade and just get it to break even and then just hold it. So there is no real setup on it at the moment. This turned into a larger flat in here, which took me out. But yeah, if you get, it looks like you're getting a little flag in here now. You're getting a little flag in here. You can trade these flags, but you have to be careful. You know, they take you out. UY has always been a very choppy pair. It's always been very choppy ever since I've been trading. You know, I never used to like to trade it because it was always so choppy. You know? Get you in and then take you out. It's one of those pairs where you really have to look at the longer term structure and trade in that direction. Once you get your trade, get it to break even, then just hold it. It's a difficult pair to scalp. But yeah, I'd be more inclined to look for the buys. Sheffy is a lot cleaner pair to trade. We've got these 5 down with bull divergence. It's only a matter of time before we get this A, B, C in X2 on the weekly. We do have bear hidden here. It's not something you can trade, the bear hidden. I definitely wouldn't be looking to sell this to break that low. It doesn't fit the rule. This one here has played a lot nicer than UY. We've got that WXYX. In this weekly outlook here, we were just here and I was looking for at least one more down. We got that one more down. That confirmed this bull hidden. And then we went and broke that top. First target was hit last week. Yeah, I think even the week before, last weekly outlook, I think we broke that top up here and hit the first target, and now it's looking like we're going to go up to that second target. We hit that second target again on the weekly. On the daily, we're looking for that larger. So eventually, we will get this correction in here. So you'll have to be careful of that correction. So it's becoming a little bit more risky to trade. We don't have any bearish divergence on the H4. So you definitely can still look for buys. Now this may turn into something more complex, like because this is so impulsive and this is quite choppy. You know? So we may get a larger, like running flat in here for an A, B, C. Okay. Or a larger correction as the B wave on the daily. So you'll have to watch that. We don't have any bearish divergence on the H4. So we definitely can look for the buys. This gave a beautiful setup Thursday and Friday. Yeah, see, this was the we had that bullish divergence in here for that bull hidden to go and break that top. We got a nice correction in here. This was a little bit harder, this one. We're getting that Z up. We're getting a little flag in. We're getting a little bullish flag in here. So, and we got a nice trend line break. If you're not in it, if you get that little flag, wait for this little flag, and then look for that target, that second target, that 161.8. Or you can just move it to break even and you know, wait for the daily, you know, the daily target, which is that 38.2. So yeah, you can look for that bullish flag in here. If you get a bullish flag in here, you can look for that buy. It's made more of a scalp now because you will. Well, we already do have that bearish divergence now because we have broken that top. So if you get the flag, it's more of a scalp up to this 161.8. UCAD, we got this the 100 fibs right down here still. We're still within this downtrend. Looks like we're breaking out now. Just breaking the trend line doesn't mean anything. It's not confirmed. So we still are in this downtrend, but eventually we got this bullish divergence here. So in this C way down, we got an internal ABC in here, and we got between the A, between this low and this low, we did have that bullish divergence, and now between this low and this low, we're getting even more bullish divergence. So this, these are the sort of things that you don't want to miss. I'm in this trade right down the bottom there, but we got this ABC, like the A, B, C. So when we were up here, I was looking for more upside for maybe an expanding flat. Very hard to trade to get this one down. I was only really looking for the buys, like I've been saying for ages. If you follow me, you know that I've only been looking for the buys. Even to sell this down here, I wasn't looking for the sell. I mean, I said you can sell it, but it's not something I sell. We've got this nice impulse up. If we go down to the H1, so we got this nice A, B, C in here, bounced off the 100 fib. We've got a higher high. Wait for your correction and buy. Or if you get little flags, you can look for the buy. Like I've been saying, you can look for the buys on the flags, but they're a little bit more risky because we do have this large impulse. So it becomes a little bit more riskier. Eventually we will get this larger correction, possibly back down to the 50 fib. Doesn't have to get to the 50 fib, might just get to the 38.2. But we're looking for that the safer option is to wait for that larger correction and then take it. We definitely want to be taking the buys. I think we did break this top. Yeah, we have just broken this top, so that negates any bearish hidden divergence. So this is definitely one you want to try and get on. If you get that correction or flag this week, look for the buy. And you're looking for the 50 fib retrace on the daily. You're looking for this. I have to move that down to here. So we're looking for this level, retrace. So there's a lot of room. We're looking. It won't go in a straight line. We may get something like this, an ABC or something like that. But we're looking for that 50 fib. On the H1, yeah, you really have to wait. You did get a little flat in here. I got in right down the bottom here. I think it was 95 I got in, so around here somewhere. On the lower time frame, right on the lower time frame, so I got the entry. But that's not something, I'd advise inexperienced traders to do, because you're picking tops and bottoms. You're getting the setup on the lower time frames, but the lower the time frame, the more unreliable the actual pattern will be, or the flag, or the correction that you're looking at. GU, we got that Y up. This target here, I'm looking for a retrace. We got a WXY. Now this has broken the 100 fib, and I was looking for that A, B, C. So it can fall over from here, or we get a Z up and then falls over. So there's still, but we're only looking for, we've lost the bearish divergence on the H1 now, on the daily, sorry. So yeah, I'm looking for that larger correction in here, at least down to that 38.2. X2, we're looking for that 38.2. That's our target. Once it starts get past the 50, well, you can see it's starting to break the trend line, and it's starting to become more risky, but you can get that ball hidden and then still get that Z up. But yeah, so we're only looking for shorts. This has been very choppy, very hard to trade. We got a nice correction in here. This was probably one of the nicer corrections that we got in this whole up move, you know. It wasn't a correction, but it was a more a H1 correction, or H4 flag. But if there's no real, like, we got divergence between here, this top and this top. There's, you know, but yeah, it's not really giving between the last two tops. This one here and this one here, there's no divergence, so it is quite risky. You're probably better off to look for one of the other impulses down, not this one. But this one still can go. This is the end of the wave Y on the daily. So again, see, this one didn't give that bearish divergence like I like to see, you know. We didn't get that bearish divergence. Even between this top here and this top, you know, we didn't get that bearish divergence, so it becomes risky. It's like that EU didn't give that bearish divergence. This is, we got a lower low. Now this is important. We got that lower low. It's looking bullish in here. You can see it. It's looking like a bullish, but it may be just a C up and then more downside. So we have to watch this. We have to watch what happens in here, what sort of correction we get, because we did get a lower low, but there wasn't any divergence, so it becomes risky. This is looking like a bullish flag, so it's quite risky to take it, but you can take it because we don't have any of that bearish divergence, and you definitely want to be at break even at that top. If you game enough to buy this, you know, right up at a high. I'll be more inclined to, we got this trend line break, we got a lower low, wait for the correction, wait. I'd even, I mean, you can take this buy, but I'd be more inclined to wait for an A, B, C up, trend line break, you know, little flag, and then look for the sells, you know, for at least the A, B, C. That's how I trade, you know. I wouldn't take this full flag. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's not something I would trade. Even though we don't have bearish divergence, I'd still, we're at tops, we're at highs. They become risky. So yeah, I'd be more inclined to wait for this. You'd have to go down on the low, but A, B, C, wait for the trend line break, little flag, and then look for the sell. That's how I'd trade it. I'd leave this flag, but you definitely can take it. There's no reason why you can't. You know, if you're experienced enough, you can take it, move it to break even at the top, and let it go. Wave Y, there's no confirmation that wave Y is over. So on the daily, so you definitely can keep on taking if you know what you're doing. It's not a high probability trade for me, so I just leave it. You know, I only like to take the high probability trades, because if you start taking risky trades, you know, you start losing money, or you give back all your profits, and that's the problem. That's what a lot of people, you know, that's what happens. A lot of people have that problem. WXY, then we had this bear hidden in here, and we did just break that low there last weekly outlook, and now it's definitely broken it. So we do have that bear hidden played out. I mean, how many other people were looking for the buys up here, you know? I mean, I did say in the weekly outlook, once we broke this trend line, you can look for buys in here if you get a buy setup, but we do have that bearish hidden divergence. And look what happened. We've gone and broken that low. How many people would have picked this? And that's why it's so important to learn all the divergences and how they work, because they do play out. It's very important, and it will keep you out of a lot of bad trades. So it's very important, and we are starting to get that bullish divergence. Like I've been saying on the weekly, I am looking for that larger correction, you know, like, and this can go on for a couple of years, you know, so we can get like a correction after a correction, you know. So who knows what sort of pattern it's going to give, but it's actually hit my second target now. The first target was that 23.6, and the second target is this 38.2 in the wave Y, wave X2, sorry. So the second target's been hit. You know, that's why it's very important to, you know, but this correction here still may not be over. You know, this can go on for a long time, like this one did. You know, this went for a couple of years. Daily, we're starting to get that bullish divergence, like I discussed, and we had that bear hidden. Now, last week, we were in here, and I was looking for that buy just for an A, B, C up before we get more downside. If you go back in the video, you'll see. But we never got I was actually looking for the buy on this one as well, and I never got the buy set, and never got the buy on it, and it's just gone back, broken the low. Now we've actually lost our bullish divergence between the two lows, like between this low and this low. We've lost that bullish divergence, so you still can scalp the short. Why this trend line here holds? I'll remove this. So why this trend line here still holds, you can look for the shorts, and it can go down to the, like, this is the weekly. It's hard to see, but because it's the daily 161.8 and the weekly 50 fib line up pretty much exactly, so it's hard to see, but there is the 50 fib on the weekly here. So we do have room down to here. We don't really like to see the wave X2 get down to the 50. Once it starts to get past the 50, it becomes, it may change that structure. So, but it still can get, you know, anywhere between in here, you know, anywhere in between here, it can still go. There's still room down. So you can look for the shorts, but I'd definitely be starting to reassess the situation if price starts to get around these levels, like the 16, 18 area. You know, I must have just changed that, but on the H1, we don't have any bearish divergence. We had bear hidden here. It's gone down, broken the low. We don't have any bullish divergence, so any little flag, or even if you get the larger correction, look for the sell. Only looking for sell at this stage. So only looking for the sells. I mean, you can, yeah, I wouldn't even look for the bull flags, because yeah, we don't have that bullish divergence, so there's no real buy setup that I would take on it at this stage. WTI on the daily, we're nearly up to this 100 fib. You know, like I said, you know, I was putting out long-term buy setups here around this area around here, and you know, everyone thought I was crazy that it would get up to around these levels, you know. And here we are. I'm actually thinking it may get up to this 85 level. So, you know, there still is room, and we still are within this trend. We're in this bullish trend here. But we are getting this bearish divergence. We aren't quite at the 100 fib, but we are getting a lot of bearish divergence now. You definitely don't want to start buying up here, you know. This was a nice correction here. We would have got on that. Now we're looking for, like, this is, so this is, I'm targeting this. I'm only looking for sells. We got bearish divergence on H4. Daily we got bearish divergence. You know, H4 we got bearish divergence. This is a first target, you know, your 50 fib. So looking for A, B, C down to the 50 fib. This second target is the daily 100 fib of the whole move of this whole move. So this is your 50 fib here. That's your second target if we get that larger correction down to there. So I'm only looking for the sells. If you go down to the H1, again, we have bearish divergence. So you definitely don't want to be looking for buys. Now we have a possible bull hidden here because we haven't broken this low here. So we do have that possible bull hidden. It's not, you can't trade it as bull hidden because you need something other than, you need an impulse up and something else to trade it as bull hidden. And it's not tradable as bull hidden because it doesn't fit the rules that we use for bull hidden. But it doesn't mean that it won't play out. So you will have to be careful with that. Ideally, you get this. Like I'm in this. I got in it up here somewhere, but ideally now, if you're not in it, you want it to break this low, then, and it will break the trend line as well, you know, this uptrend here, and then give you that correction or bearish flag, something to trade, to sell. You know, wherever the 100 fib is, you know, you want to be at least at break even because you're going to be on that high, well, on the daily trend line. So, you know, you may get the bounce up for more upside. But yeah, if you get any sell setups on it, we got divergence on daily, H4 and H1 now. You know, if you get the sell set up, don't miss it. Bitcoin. We're still within this wave white. Still, this may still not be over. You know, we can't rule out this as some sort of a flat in here to complete that wave Y. That wave Y still is not confirmed to have ended, but I am looking for that larger correction, you know. And this is your target here, like that 38.2 in the wave X, you know. So there still is a bit of room down to the 39. What is it? 39,800 level. H4. This would have been your setup here last week for the sell. You're only looking for the sell, you know. But then again, we didn't have it could have turned into bull hidden. See, this can turn into bull hidden now because, yeah, can't really go into it too much, but we do have bull hidden here. I'll just double check to see that we do. Yeah, we do have bull hidden. We do have that possible bull hidden without any bearish divergence. So really want to see a correction that's similar size to this. So we get the ABC here, very messy. It's more like a triangle, or contracting flat. But this correction isn't over. It's not as large as this one, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to trade. So this was your correction last week. You could have got on to go and break that low. It's only just broken that low, like, so yeah, it hasn't gone. I mean, this may not be over because we still we do have a bearish trend here now. Right? Why this trend here holds, right? You're only bearish, right? Because we are at a top and we may be at the end of that wave Y on the daily. So, okay. I think last week, I think we were in here somewhere. I can't remember, but I think we were looking for a little buy. I said to be careful, you know. But yeah, at this stage, I'd be looking at this. I'd be looking at trading this. We do have that bullish divergence, but this may just, we're still within this trend. It may just break that top and give us more downside. I'll be looking at trading this down rather than the buys. For the buys, you really need the impulse up, and you really want it to break that top, and then you're trading at the, this is the top over here, so you really need to break this top and then give you that correction to buy. That could take at least a week, to get that set up, because it's going to be risky to trade flags, especially bullish flags, So I'd be looking at this. If you get that set up, sell set up here, look for that sell set up rather than, because you're going to have to wait for the bullish setup. You're going to have to wait, If you do get that bullish setup this week, well, yeah, go for it, But yeah, at this stage, it's very risky either way because we do have that bullish divergence on the H1. So it's going to be really difficult to trade, more for the experienced traders. SPX daily, we're still within the uptrend. We got bearish divergence, the 100 fibs right up here. But again, because we do have that bearish divergence, we can fall over at any time, H4. Again, we only got bearish divergence between this top and this top, because the last two tops, this top and this top, we lost that bearish divergence. So it becomes more difficult. I'm actually in this trade in the short, but this was a risky trade for even me. This was a very risky trade. I got in right up here somewhere, but it was a very risky. I only took a small position because it was just so risky. I got in on the lower time frames, but it's been very choppy. It's risky because we don't have any bearish divergence. But it did fall over. I did take like around here somewhere, and that turned into a break-even trade, and I got another sell set up down on the lower time frames in here, but it was another really risky setup. I'd be more inclined to sell this. We've got that daily bearish divergence on the H4. There's really nothing. We've got this. We're in a downtrend. So really, why this trend line here holds, you can look for the sells. We got no bullish divergence on the H4, so you can look for the sells. On the H1, we're sort of getting a triangle or some sort of a triangle pattern here. The only way now to trade this is to put a sell stop at the low. And if you get triggered, this is your stop loss. Because this looks like sort of a triangle, A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, you can really only sell below the low here. With that is your stop loss. We don't have any bullish divergence, so you can, any flags or corrections you get, look for the sell. The DAX, this has been hard as well. Hasn't been playing. On the daily, we do have bearish divergence here. This here is looking like this was looking very corrective. This here is looking very corrective as well. So there may not be much in it, but if we go down to, yeah, see, I think a couple of weeks ago I was looking at this to buy, to go and break that top, and never broke that top, so it's turned into a correction instead of a flag. We've got this here. Well, actually, this is your trend line here. Very difficult. You're right up at a top, and it's giving buy setups. You know, whether you want to take them or not, it's, you know, becomes very risky. I mean, there's still heaps of room up to the 100 fib on the daily. We have bearish divergence there. I don't think between this top we have bearish divergence, even though it went and broke the top. So yeah, this is looking more bullish. This is looking corrective. On the H1, you may be getting a setup if you're looking to buy this. It looks like you're getting a bullish flag here. Again, it's very risky because we don't have any bearish divergence, bullish divergence, sorry, between these two lows. So if you're looking for that buy, you know, you have to wait for it to break out, and I'd even wait for a little flag on the high time frames or something, because on the lower time frames, because this is going to be risky. It is giving a bullish setup, and so more than likely it may come down and break this low and then go, or just go in here somewhere and go just for an A, B, C maybe, and then I'd be more inclined to wait for the A, B, C up, trend line break, then little flag, and I'll be more inclined to sell because we don't have any of that bearish divergence. It's very risky because on the daily it's looking bullish. On the H4 it's looking like that bullish. You know, all this is looking corrective, you know, to this impulse. So me personally, I'd be leaving it. You know, it's like SPX. It's very risky. I took that trade up the top. It was very risky trade. It was only luck more than anything that it actually, you know, I got it to break even and it didn't take me out. You know, that's, yeah. I don't really know what to say. You're at a top, and if you're going to trade it long, well, you know, you want to keep tight stops. I'd be more inclined to sell, but it's not giving sell setups, so I'd be just leaving it alone. Me personally, I just leave leave these alone. That's not giving the setups, you know. The FTSE, we got that 3 up on the daily. We didn't get the bearish, or did we get the bearish? I think we did get the bearish divergence. Yeah, we did get the bearish divergence. We're getting a H4. We got a nice impulse down. It did break this low by the look of it, only just. It only just has to. And then you got that 1, 2, 3 up. Go on and breaking a trend line, and you've got this. But again, this is sort of like a flat correction in here, an expanding flat. So you could have only sold under this low here. So if you took that trade, you know, you wouldn't be at break even yet. But you are in this trend. You are in a trend here. So while this trend holds, you can look for sells. You get sells on the H1 or whatever, you can look for sells. We go down to the H1. It's a H4 trend line, but or H1. But this is very difficult correction. You know, you sort of got a contracting flat in the middle in the B wave. You know, it's very difficult to trade. You can only trade this at the break of the low. You may have seen some sort of a pattern in here, but this, even that was very deep. You could really only sell at the bottom there. If you get a flag in, you definitely can look for the sell. I'd be more inclined to be looking for sells because of that daily bearish divergence, and you know, the longer term trade is to the downside. Like I showed, this low here can be broken. I'm not saying it's going to be, but you know, that's what the structure's giving, that we can trade in that direction. So I'd be looking for that sell. Wait for a little flag in here. For the buys, you really have to wait for this trend line to be broken, and then, you know, correction up here, you know, for the buy. So that's about it this weekend. Sorry that these, you know, I might have to start cutting off the FTSE and you know, a couple of these pairs, because it's starting to get too long. I don't want these weekly outlooks to be long. You know, that's why I'm just doing the majors, because you know, I don't want people falling asleep, you know. So I might have to cut off the UK and maybe even the DAX, and just do them every now and then, just to keep these a little bit shorter. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Please share, like, subscribe, and I hope you get onto some nice trades next week. We've got some nice impulses, so you know, if you get the setups, jump on them, man, and enjoy, and I'll see you out there.